Scariest encounters with black-eyed children. All right, picture this. It's a quiet night, you're alone at home, and there's a sudden knock at the door. You open it to find two children standing on your porch, but something feels off. Their heads are tilted down, their voices are flat and strange. And when they finally look up, you see it. Their eyes are completely black. No whites, no iris, just endless darkness staring back at you. Chills run down your spine. They ask to come in, but something deep inside you screams that you shouldn't. But why? Who or what are these black-eyed children? Are they lost souls, demonic entities, or something even more sinister? And what happens if you actually let them in? Midnight caller. It felt like a dream almost. Lucy, my dog, was barking when I woke up. As my husband and I slept with our 22-month-old daughter, she stood up on the bed next to us and stared at the door, as if someone unfamiliar were looking around. I thought she was just upset about a noise in the house. She was still a puppy even though we had had her for 3 months. The noise could have been caused by our neighbor, the house settling, or the awnings moving in the wind. At first, I wasn't too worried. That was the best thing I could do. I opened the door to show her there was nothing there. It might sound silly, but that's what we do when our daughter is scared. So I thought it would work with a dog too. She ran to the front door as soon as I opened the door. She just stood there and growled at the door. It was a mean, angry growl that I had never heard her make before. I groggily looked at her and opened the baby gate that was in the way of the door. I was going to open the door and let her know everything was fine. Lucy went crazy as soon as I reached for the lock. She barked and jumped at me, and when I touched the metal, she lost her anger all of a sudden. She whimpered, which made it sound like she was scared and pulling back. As her behavior changed, so did mine. I stopped being calm. At the same time, my heart was beating fast and slowing down. There was a mix of fear and dread in the air. I peeped through the hole. I don't know why I looked, but I did. 2 kids were outside. One of them was a hair shorter than me and didn't look very young. She looked about 16 or 17 years old. I'm 21. She was thin and pale. Her hair was a light honey blonde color and was worn long, about mid-back. In front, she had long, thin, straight bangs that reached most of her eyes. She wore pants with a trendy light wash and an olive-colored pullover hoodie that looked thin. She held the hand of a little girl who wore the same style of pants and an ivory button-down cardigan. The girl looked to be about 3 or 4 years old. The little one was shy and looked at the ground. It had the same color hair that was pulled back in a clip. The way she dressed and the stuffed animal she was holding were exactly the same as the ones my daughter has. If I wasn't so scared and dreadful, I might have let these kids come in and given them hot chocolate or tea to warm up in. They didn't seem quite right. At this point, I hadn't said anything. I hadn't said anything to the dog or grumbled, and I hadn't turned on any lights, so these kids had no idea I was at the door. This one spoke first. Her voice was strong, steady, mature, and didn't have any accents. I couldn't see her eyes because her head was turned down. "We need to use your phone," she told him. I stood still out of fear. How did she understand I was there? I saw her eyes when she turned her head to face me straight on. They were black, midnight blue, or a deep dark purple, which is why I couldn't see them before through her bangs. "They look like they were from another world," she said. "Our mother is scared." From the moment she looked at me through the door, I knew what she was. I've always liked scary stories. I have never believed in these things. As a strong atheist and critic of the supernatural, I had already brushed off many a ghost story from friends and family who were eager to share their tale. I wasn't sure about it. Still, I couldn't think of a way out of this situation. There was only a thin wooden door between me and a black-eyed kid. There was nothing I could do about what was in front of me. I didn't answer her. As I moved away from the door slowly and quietly, Lucy stayed close to my legs. She talked at length. "Let us use your phone, please." The tone changed when I took another step back. She seemed nice at first. As soon as I took that second step back, she became bossy and almost aggressive. "We're not going to hurt you. To do that, we would have had to break in." "I'm going to ask again. Could we use your phone?" Lucy growled at the door, and I stepped back. but I felt like something inside me was slowly pulling me back toward the door. There wasn't really a pulling, but there was a need deep down to go back and let them in. When I got to my room, I shut the door and covered the window. Then I sat down in the dim light of the nightlight. I heard her call me again to the door, and then it got quiet. That night, I didn't go back to sleep, and I haven't slept well since. I learned from reading that Becks can't just walk in without being let in. Even though I know they haven't hurt anyone, I'm still afraid I'll be the one. My husband told me it was only a dream when I told him. He keeps telling me to forget about it, but this sadness that won't go away, this fear that someone will knock on the door at night, these things tell me otherwise. Meeting on the bus. It was around 1 a.m., and I was taking the bus home from work. As a security guard, I often work odd hours. I'm sitting there when this guy gets on and sits down next to me. He looked like any other guy in his 20s. He was wearing a suit and carrying a suitcase. The first thing that caught my eye about him was that he wasn't smoking, but just chewing on a cigar. On the bus, nobody can smoke. At first, he looked out the window and chewed a cigar while I looked at him. Then he turned around and looked at me. Just like you said, his eyes were pitch black. My gorge started to rise and my heart started beating like crazy. I was losing it and didn't know why. I was so scared of this guy, I was peeing my pants. Then he smiled at me. The cigar was clamped between his teeth, and tobacco bits and brown juice were all over them. I was about to scream, but I was smart enough to just get up and sit down right behind the driver. After that, I felt a little better, but I still kept an eye on the guy. He was talking to a girl who got on, and they were still talking when I got off. After some time, I was sure he was just kidding around with me while having fun with his contacts. Now I wonder, you have to let me in. My one and only contact with a black-eyed child occurred on March the 17th, 2008. I had never heard of anything related to the black-eyed children prior to my encounter. I was 12. I was waiting for my mom to get her hair trimmed while sitting outside a hair salon in an old Chevy pickup. After 15 minutes or so, I noticed a child pacing the sidewalk in front of my parked car. I rapped on the front windshield until he turned to face me, since I initially thought I recognized him as one of my school pals. I didn't know anyone. I wasn't scared at all at this time. Not quite yet. The boy approached my care area and simply gazed. I believe so that I can see his eyes clearly. To frighten me, let me explain. You have no notion what to imagine if you have never seen a child with black eyes. Students are as dark as the night sky. I closed the car doors and ducked behind the seats when the boy whispered, "You must let me in." He left after 5 minutes. As my mother got into the car, she informed me that a black-eyed boy had entered the hair salon and demanded that my mother give him the car's keys. Thank heavens she did not. If you love creepy stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you never miss a scare.